Hello and welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia, Yumiko's route. In the last episode, the other girls of Mihama Academy found Yuuji's stalking of Yumiko to be suspicious at best. And in a nightly operation, they stalked out his room and found his notes, which Makina with her photogenic memory was able to copy to the letter. Unfortunately, when they were reading aloud their findings, Sakaki was happened to overhear them, and she confronted Yuuji with the results of the other girl's findings. Yuuji admitting that he had been following her around because he had been assigned as her bodyguard, although she declared that she had no need for him. She then accepted, well, although without actually saying it, that Yuuji was around. Yuuji followed her to the riverbed, where she would sit and draw for most of the day, but nothing happened. We now continue as an incident a bit later takes place. I can't take this anymore. You follow me around day in and day out. I can't get a moment of peace. Today, Sakaki seemed even more irritable than usual. She was reading in the lobby from early in the morning, and before noon she headed out to sketch at the riverbank. In other words, the two of us have been alone together more or less all day. Seems to have grated on her nerves. Stopping her drawing in the early evening as always, she gathered up her belongings more rapidly than usual, then stomped up to me and began to vent her spleen. Not to worry, I do have basic manners and make sure to avert my eyes from any potentially shameful actions on your parts. Do you really not understand that even saying something like that is incredibly rude? I'd been intending to smooth things over, but seemed to have poured oil on the fire instead. This is something I've been vaguely aware of for a while now, but it seems I have a bad habit of enraging women over the strangest little things. All the more pathetic because it's usually the result of well-intentioned words backfiring, rather than actual maliciousness on my part. I mean, what's this threat you keep talking about supposed to be anyway? Surely you've spied on me long enough to notice, but my family regards me as a nuisance as best ignored. The idea of someone coming after me for money after all this time is completely ridiculous. From the start, Sakaki had insisted that she didn't want protection, but now she tries out a different objection. To be sure, I haven't picked up any concrete threats approaching Sakaki in the week that I've been watching over her. It'll be too late to start protecting you after something happens. A bodyguard is a preventative measure. Not much good in installing a burglar alarm after someone's already cleaned out your safe, right? But the fact of the matter is that no one's attacked me. Just for your information, that doesn't just apply to the week you've just wasted following me around. I've been on my own for nearly 2 years without a single incident of any sort. But today just might be the day that changes. Spare me the sophistry. All right, in that case, take a look behind you. Listen, Sakaki starts another angry retort, but swallows her words as she notices that I've said something strange. There's been something wrong with this picture for a little while now. What's behind me? Sakaki too seems to finally have caught the scent of something strange in the air. With timid, uncertain movements, she slowly turns her head to look behind her. Well, they got fairly close. A group of blatantly suspicious-looking men in black suits stare back. They're not even trying to hide what they are, which probably means they're planning to take forcible measures. Only reinforcing this impression, the unmarked van parked next to their car on the road above. Standard vehicle for carrying off a kidnapped victim. Hold on, this is also a good moment for a thumbnail. These gentlemen don't strike me as the most peace-loving bunch. Even without the van and the suits, it's clear enough from a glance at the lead group that these people aren't here for a calm negotiation. A brawny man, strikingly wide in the shoulders, towers at the head of the pack. At his side there's a man with bandages rolled around his fist, probably gripping something hard. A third keeps his arm dangling loosely at his sides in the manner of a martial artist, waiting and watching for us to make a move. Even if they came out with a good evening, could you spare a moment to talk? At this point it would be hard to take them as anything but a sarcastic provocation. Wait, who are these people? Are they really here because they want something from me? Sakaki's tone of voice has grown distinctly uneasy. Faced with an unfamiliar atmosphere of danger, her normal cool-headed indifference has melted away. She's unconsciously grabbed hold of my shirt, and there's a clear fear in her eyes. Well, I don't have that much value as commodities, though I think it's safe to assume they're after you, Sakaki. But that doesn't make any sense, I'm not... You can make excuses if you want, but I don't think they're going to change their objective. Sakaki's hands grip my sleeves even more tightly. The men approach slowly and silently, eyes fixed intently on us, looking for the right moment to take action. The three in front seem like the main threat. They've got 5 others hanging back as support, including the drivers, but that group doesn't seem to have any combat experience. Listen very carefully, Sakaki. What? Drawing my face close to Sakaki, I push her long hair away from the side of her head. A shapely white ear emerges from its hiding place behind the black curtain. I speak a few quiet, blunt words into it. Stay down, make yourself as small as possible, and keep yourself behind me. Why? Just do it, alright? Unless you're eager to take a ride with these charming people. Wait, don't tell me you're planning to... Sakaki's question falters off halfway through, but her meaning is clear enough. I offer her a firm, empathetic nod. I can handle it. Might be a little frightening, but deal with it. Don't be ridiculous. I don't know what it is you do, but there's no way you can fight those people, let alone this many of them. It'll be fine. Just do what I told you. But that's just... In that instant, Sakaki tries to continue her reaction. The man with the physique of a rugby player who'd been standing at the head of the pack rushes forward, aiming to tackle me to the ground. Ah! Get down, Sakaki! As soon as Sakaki throws herself face down to the ground, I dodge the enormous man's charge like a tornado evading a bull. Whoa! Apparently Rugby Man wasn't expecting such a well-timed sidestep. He makes a strangely grunt as the momentum carries him past me. Nice broad back you got there. Before he can begin to turn, I sharply drop my right elbow down onto his oversized spine. You have to admit though, it makes for a nice big target as well. Rugby Man exhales roughly, then collapses face first into the dirt. That's one, for starters. Confirming that my oversized friend isn't getting up anytime soon, I whip around 180 degrees to face the other attackers. Ha ha! Bandit Hand here has a different style. He's spitting out short pants at regular intervals, bouncing slightly from side to side to the rhythm. This one's shorter than me, but his body abnormally slim and lithe. His physique suggests extraordinary agility. From his stance with his right arm slightly below and behind his left, it's clear that he's an experienced boxer. If he lands a punch, it's probably going to be a bone fracture or eternal bleeding. A slugging match with a boxer is never a good idea, let alone when he's grasping something. In other words, I need to dodge until I have a chance to launch a disabling counterattack to a weak point. Ha, ha, ha! The tempo of Bandit Hand's breathing grows steadily quicker. As he slowly begins to close the distance between us, the slight movements of his body begin to include something of a forward back sway. Shoo! He's coming. The man exhales heavily and springs forward, his half-hidden right hand shooting out toward my face. I duck my head just barely enough to avoid the punch. Now within range, he follows up with a wider swing from the left. That's what I was looking for. Cleanly evading the second half of this predictable combination, I slide forward to point-blank range and land a violent kick to his shin. As Bandit Hand freezes up from the pain, I step back, pivot, and swing my fist right into his right flank, throwing my whole body into the punch. Spittle and strangled little grunt spray from the boxer's mouth. His eyes rolls back in his head, and he collapses heavily to the ground. Should probably stay down for a while after taking a direct hit to the liver. Before the others can react, I've resettled myself at Sakaki's side. 2 down. I look over at the final remaining member of the attacking team. Although there's a hint of shock in his expression after seeing the others go down so quickly, his composed posture suggests a fundamental confidence. He clearly thinks himself on a different level than the other two. His peculiar stance involving constant movement of his limbs reminds me strongly of the Chinese Kenpo my master taught me back in the day. This one's aiming at the counter himself. I can picture him smoothly sidestepping the instant I try to lunge forward. The loose swaying of his body might not look particularly intimidating to an amateur's eye, but I'm confident he's more dangerous than the others. Well, let's try a trap. Imitating Rugbyman, I spring forward like a sprinter, charging directly at the martial artist. He instantly slips away from my attack with a triumphant little laugh. From the side, he fires off a sharp kick aimed at my pivot leg. Took the bait. I swivel to grab his extended leg, then twist it roughly in my arms, bringing him to the ground in a leg lock. What? Specifically, it's a heel lock, of the sort frequently seen in your nastier mixed martial arts competitions. I twist his foot back with my arms, causing agonizing pain that would normally inspire a quick tap out. Of course, this isn't a match, so it's not an option. The man desperately uses his free leg and arms to attack me. But with his heel completely immobilized, it's impossible to gain the leverage necessary for an effective blow. Sorry, but I need you to settle down for a while. Bringing the strength of my arms to bear, I bend the man's heel sharply to the side. That was an unpleasant sound. Ugh! I got goosebumps from that one. Ugh! Ooh! The joints of his ankle crack loudly and his foot turns in a direction nature never intended it to. Ugh! The imagery of that. Oh! The man lets out a strangled little scream and I feel the fight go out of him. When I release the hold, he instantly clutches his ankle and rolls around on the ground, tears streaming down his face. That's everyone. Rising quickly to my feet, I place my body protectively in front of Sakaki's. The only men left standing nearby are two members of the support team. I glower at them expectantly. What the hell? No way! Okay, this ain't what we signed up for. But the remaining men keep the distance, watching warily and hissing to each other in flustered voices. What they signed up for? Maybe the kidnappers hashed out internal contracts or something of the sort. Nothing I need to be too concerned about at the moment, I suppose. We're going to run away now, Sakaki. Yes? I pull Sakaki by the hand and run up the sloping bank toward the street above. Sakaki quickly runs out of breath but pushes herself desperately forward, barely managing to keep up. After reaching the road, I shoot one quick glance over my shoulder at the group of men we left behind. The remaining members are helping their battered fighters back to their vehicles rather than pursuing us. Concluding that they're backing off for now, I set off at a rapid jog toward the dorm, towing Sakaki along behind me. If you remember back in the main story, Yuuji had an encounter with 3 thugs in an alley at Mishima Cape, and those were even armed with a knife, a revolver, or maybe it was in Makina's story, I don't quite remember, but they had a knife, a taser, and a pistol. And Yuuji dismantled them pretty quickly. I think these guys were more professional thugs, but, well, Yuuji still had the upper hand. Although the men didn't seem to be chasing us just to be on the safe side, I took a number of brief detours on the way back to the campus. The sun had just been setting as we left, so by the time we finally reached the gate, it's already dark out. Bursting into the dorm in this state would just alarm anyone, and I don't think Sakaki's looking for more fuss right now. Instead of running straight into the lobby, I lead her to the courtyard. You alright, Sakaki? Finally releasing her hand, I ease Sakaki down onto a bench to rest. I'm fine. The girl makes an admirable effort to keeping up a tough front, but after all that running, she's understandably fatigued. Did you do something back there? Something? That's pretty vague. You're referring to my scuffle with those gentlemen? Sakaki silently nods her head. Well, I've been trained on how to deal with people proficient in various skills. It's kind of relevant in my line of work. In my profession, you naturally meet people with a wide range of experience in this regard. Former Dan-rank Kenpo practitioners, karate experts who made it to the nationals. Sometimes you'll even run into guys who competed in the world championships of something or other. Naturally, the same goes for our organization's competitors and professional rivals, so the instructors teach you a wide variety of coping strategies covering more or less the full range of martial arts. And by taught, I mean they beat the techniques into you. I myself suffered more than a few lesions that very nearly ended in bone fractures. I see. That certainly does sound like quite the rough job. She mutters the word without a hint of ridicule, in a tone of complete conviction. This is a world Sakaki knew nothing of until now. It's simply outside her range of experience. Even if she understood in an academic sense that people like that existed, personally coming into contact with them has clearly driven home just how real and unpleasant that world is. So there's your wake-up call. You understand now just how much danger you're in? Yes, I suppose. Sakaki nods with an uncharacteristic honesty. But that doesn't mean I need a boyfriend, a bodyguard.
Why not?
I told you from the very start, didn't I? I don't particularly care if something happened. There's no need for you to defend me. Her expression changes, the fears fading, leaving something gloomy and bitter in its place. Just like the other day, I can see a hint of defeat in her eyes. I don't want your protection. Please don't follow me tomorrow. Sakaki brushes off a few clumps of earth from her skirt, then opens her bag and carefully returns the colored pencil scattered loosely inside to the box. When that task is completed, she takes the bag in her hand and rises abruptly to her feet. I'm going back to my room now. And with this brief announcement, she strides quickly off in the direction of the dorm. But Sakaki stops dead about 4 paces away. After a moment's hesitation, she turns toward me and comes back. Her body's facing me, but her eyes won't quite meet mine.
What is it?
All of a sudden, she lowers her head in a slight bow. Well, thank you for helping me today. It wasn't necessary, but that doesn't change the fact that you helped me. It's so generally unexpected that all I can do is watch. I can't think of anything to say in return. Goodbye. Once again, Sakaki turns on her heel, and this time she doesn't stop. Her feet crunch across gravel at a steady, controlled pace as she makes her way across the courtyard. By appearance, at least, she's already back to the Sakaki Yumiko I know. I watch her as she goes, thinking back over the events of the day.
I have to say though, that was strange.
The people who came after us today were without a doubt a standard crew of moderately skilled hooligans, but there's one thing that's been bothering me. They came at me one by one, taking turns, like something out of a manga. That makes exactly 0 sense. All 3 of their tough guys should have rushed me at once. Hell, even the 5 hanging back for support. The sheer numbers would have made it difficult even for me, especially with Sakaki to protect. Divide and conquer is the basic rule of fighting when outnumbered, and they went now out of their way to divide themselves for me. No matter how I look at this, it just doesn't add up. It might just be a coincidence, but there's a possibility it means something. Better to figure it out now rather than run into some nasty surprise down the road.
Guess JB would be the person to ask.
Visions of a shaggy-headed, know-it-all blonde floating unpleasantly before my eyes. I slowly follow Sakaki's path toward the door. Approach your jobs from a detached perspective. Don't second-guess your instructions. That's the fundamental attitude my employers have beaten into me ever since I got into this line of work. And in fact, I've never thought too hard about the jobs they gave me. I just tried to carry out my orders promptly, aiming for optimal efficiency and near-perfect success rate. My master showed me the ropes, and she was the best. The field commanders, especially JB, give me precise and accurate instructions. I have the skills, my employer tells me what to do with them. There's nothing to second guess. Never has been, never will be. The time, early afternoon. The place, a dormitory lobby. 2 residents confront each other across a coffee table. Normally the word confront shouldn't apply to this sort of casual interaction between classmates, but when Sakaki Yumiko's involved, it's a different story. To be more precise, the withering power of her glare can transform any encounter into a battle of wills. Alright, I'm going now.
Sure.
However, over the last few days, that fearsome scowl of hers seems to have lost some of its edge. Something might happen again today. Are you sure? Well... Proceeding slowly toward the door, Sakaki mutters the words without looking in my direction. Her voice is unusually uncertain, carrying more than a hint of genuine concern.
Don't worry about it. Whatever happens, I'll protect you.
That's quite the guarantee.
It's my job, after all.
Right, it's your job, after all. Is it just me or have those 2 gotten weirdly intimate all of a sudden? Yes, it seems that way to me as well. You'd never believe things were so dangerously hostile between them only a few days ago.
And they keep talking about all this job crap like a pair of broken records, you know. Only acting like a little business-like about the whole thing too. What? Okay, business means work, right? So what's like being alive? No, wait, that's life. Wait, what was like again? Affection? He loves his job? Michiru-sama, allow me to present you with a tasty treat. It's a marshmallow. Please munch away on it for a while. What? Thanks, but why?
Well, Margaret does have a point too. That sense of danger from before may be gone, but you can definitely feel this awkward distance between them.
The mystery's only grown deeper, you know.
Indeed.
This is tasty.
Oh, Michiru. Together we walk the usual road to the riverbank. Although I'm not sure if together is exactly the right word, for a number of reasons. First of all, there's our physical distance. Sakaki and I always walk a few meters apart. A few days ago, Sakaki had been purposefully creating that gap, even trying to widen it. But now, if anything, I'm the one consciously maintaining our distance. I'm acting as a close protection bodyguard. Normally speaking, the closer I can be to point-blank range, the better. But at the moment, there aren't any visible threats, and I don't expect any bullets come flying Sakaki's way. The girl reacts strongly against overprotectiveness, so I'm trying to give her some space when I can. If I take a step forward and stretch out my hand, I can reach her. That seems the right distance for now. Sakaki soon assumes a standard moderately rapid pace, no longer trying to escape me, but not looking back or making conversation either. Her long black hair flutters behind her. I follow at the same pace, careful not to fall behind. Since the first attack several days ago, Sakaki's outings have constantly been attracting similar groups of shady, suited men. Sometimes they are lurking around in the distance, sometimes they try the forcible approach. The objective seems to be a kidnapping, but obviously that hasn't happened yet. I've been continually scaring them off, physically repelling their abduction attempts when necessary. As such events became part of her daily routine, Sakaki's previously defined and indifferent behavior started to change as well. Only natural, I guess. No matter how much the girl insists she doesn't care about her life, the experience of real danger probably inspired some fear. Presumably this softening in her attitude toward me is a byproduct of that change in her state of mind. That's it. Sakaki doesn't seem to have completely sorted things out internally. She's stubbornly continuing her usual trips to the riverbank, as if refusing to admit that she's afraid for her own safety. And so, once again, I find myself walking along at a regular distance behind her, carefully scanning the area for suspicious vehicles and pedestrians.
Nothing for the moment, as usual.
So far, the incidents have taken place with a very consistent timing. Not that I'm letting down my guard, of course, but if the pattern holds, they won't be showing up until early evening. When we arrive at the riverbank, Sakaki settles down at the ground and begins taking her art supplies out of the tote bag. After arranging them in front of her with practiced movements of her hands, she turns back to face me. I'm going to begin.
Right.
And after this brief comment, begins her sketching as usual. There's no real need for her to announce this to me, but now that things are slightly less tense, she's making a habit of it. For all her coldness, the girl's given to odd little gestures of courtesy. Comes with being well-bred, I guess. The soft sound of the river flowing, the occasional rumbling of trains passing by. Just when you start to forget it's there, the public announcement speaker mounted on the bridge relays a few reports about missing persons and smog levels. Otherwise, this place is unbelievably quiet. I can certainly understand how it would appeal to a loner like Sakaki. The girl in question is already absorbed in drawing the scenery before her eyes. She seems to have completely forgotten I'm even here. Her hand doesn't stop moving the colored pencil across the paper for a moment.
Pretty impressive.
On the sketchbook page, a vivid sky punctuated by wispy clouds takes shape above an expanse of green. As I watch, a faint shadow stirs painfully somewhat deep inside my chest.
Damn, not again.
Fragmented memories, hidden in the cracks and crevices of my brain like pieces of rubbish, react to the slight roughness of the sketchbook paper. She's drawing the sky with deft movements of a light blue colored pencil, filling the page with shades of cyan. But from in between those strokes of color, I see something black and ugly oozing out, overwhelming the sky, rotting it away. And when the page is covered in that sickening darkness, A blood-red image begins to take shape above it. A face. I push it out of my head with a desperate effort of will. I don't have to worry anymore. I don't have to think about anything anymore. That's all behind me now, isn't it? What's past is past. I should understand that better than anyone, but even now it finds the smallest gaps in my defenses. It pushes its way effortlessly into the present. Stay away. Stay the hell away. The person I am today struggles with the thing attacking me. Forcing myself to focus on the reality before my eyes, I draw a deep, slow breath, and in time the dark entity dissipates. A refreshing summer scene spreads out before my eyes once more. My body's damp with sweat that has nothing to do with the heat.
Won't let me forget about you that easily, huh?
I mutter the words to myself too quietly for Sakaki to hear. I can't erase the memories, but at least my voice is erased by the breeze. The wind that blew my words away carries the clouds above slowly toward the sea. The sky itself is beautiful enough to seem artificial. At its very edge, a tinge of red begins to grow. I'm finished. Just as when she began, Sakaki informs me briefly that her sketching session has concluded. At first she just put away her materials silently, then head back without any fanfare whatsoever, but recently she's been considerately letting me know.
I see. Unfortunately, it seems like they're just getting started here.
My voice has more than a little tension in it. Sakaki's expression instantly grows gloomy. Again?
Yep. And it seems like we got some more troublesome ones on our hands this time.
Moving Sakaki behind me as always, I look around the area.
These ones really do look like trouble.
The moment I get a better look at the group clambering slowly down the slope from the vehicles above, I can feel my body growing tenser. It's like something out of a ridiculous superhero drama. The groups coming after Sakaki have been growing incrementally stronger with every passing day. At first I'd be able to deal with them without breaking too much of a sweat, but by now the fights are starting to get too close to comfort. This pattern needs to change, and soon.
Would help if JP was answering her phone. What the hell's going on over there anyway?
There are some strange common features about the behavior of these people. My suspicions about their unnatural actions during the first attack have only grown. I wanted to discuss that, as well as hash out some countermeasures to reverse this rapidly deteriorating situation, but my beloved superior has suddenly decided to stop responding to my calls. This is extremely unusual, especially during a mission. Thinking about it from another angle, it could well be that she's deliberately cut off contact after deciding it would be counterproductive somehow. In other words, an implicit message to focus on the problems in front of you for now.
That's it. If this goes on much longer, it's going to get tough.
As always, the group approaches only gradually, tightening the net around us little by little as if to intimidate. It's all strangely artificial. The inefficiency of their movement must be intentional, but I don't know what that means, and I can't act on the basis of vague hunches. For now, the only thing I can do is protect Sakaki Yumiko from the threat in front of us. That's my job and my responsibility.
They're coming.
Dodging the first man's kick by a hair's breadth, I grab his ankle and wrench it sharply upward. Before he even hits the ground, I can hear the second and third attackers rushing up from behind. I immediately spin around, pull Sakaki to safety behind me and take a stance. Are you really alright?
How many times do I have to tell you I'm fine?
But they hit you so many times. I mean, you were rolling across the ground.
That was deliberate, and in any case, a few bruises are past the job description.
Job this, job that, that's all you ever say. Yuuji?
His bruises are getting worse by the day.
At this point, I think we have no choice but to go ahead with the matter we discussed.
Huh? Wait, what are you talking about? Football!
Michiru-sama, have a delicious pancake. I'll explain later. Okay then, we're carrying out the operation tomorrow morning. Meet at my room at 23 hours to review the specifics, please.
Roger that, Captain.
Yes, roger that. Nice weather, at least. What was that sound? Just my imagination. What's with the with everything that's happened lately?
She's gone.
Moments ago, I made my way to Sakaki's room for my usual morning checkup, only to find her door hanging wide open. On very rare occasions, the woman might leave her door open to a crack while doing her laundry or something, but I've never seen it like this before. What's more, the suspicious handkerchief abandoned just outside the entrance makes it clear that she hasn't just stepped out for a moment.
God damn it, they got me.
Unbelievable. To think they were capable of sneaking into the campus and snatching her away without even being noticed. Were those clumsy attacks nothing but a feint? I'd lowered my level of vigilance somewhat inside the dorm, since there were almost always other people around. It seems I badly underestimated my opponents.
They can't have gotten far yet. I just have to hurry.
But just as I turned to make my way outside... It's alright, Kasami-san.
Sachi?
An eerily calm voice from behind stops me in my tracks. The girl looks up at me with a knowing expression on her face. Are you looking for Sakaki-san, Kasami-san?
Sachi, what are you?
The answer is very simple. I'm the one who abducted her, you see.
What?
I'd always suspected this woman had enough potential to enroll in a national intelligence agency with the right recommendation, but I hadn't even considered the possibility she was already affiliated with some organization.
My carelessness came back to bite me on this one. Well, do you have some demand of me or my employer?
Huh?
You kidnapped Sakaki as a bargaining chip, didn't you? Do you expect me to fulfill terms of some sort in exchange for a return, or perhaps...
No. You got it all wrong, Kasami-san. I didn't abduct Sakaki-san for any such purpose.
Say what?
I did the deed at Maki-chan's request. Well, probably speaking, the real mastermind was Amane-san, but... Now it's finally making sense. Most likely a certain authority within the dorm rashly pressed Sachi into carrying out some ridiculous scheme, resulting in the unfortunate Sakaki being taken captive. Something along those lines. I can't even begin to speculate about the objective here, but it's probably safe to assume it's a variety of harmless idiocracy. In any case, we took this action largely for personal reasons. Once our objective is achieved, we will promptly return Sakaki-san to you.
You can't tell me anything about these personal reasons or what have you?
I am truly sorry, but I was strictly directed not to divulge them.
I see. In that case, I won't try to force you.
Considering Sachi's personality, it'll probably just cause us both a lot of grief if I pushed for more. I'm already completely reassured that it's nothing more than the usual shenanigans, so the details aren't that crucial anyway. And above all else, sticking my head into private discussions between women would almost certainly not be helpful for anyone involved.
Alright then. I have no idea what you people are up to, but go ahead and do it. I'll be standing by in my room if you need me.
Thank you very much. I would like to express my personal gratitude for your understanding. Sachi offers me a respectful bow, then trots off down the hallway and vanishes silently around the corner. The girl doesn't hang around longer than she has to. She knows how to extract herself when the moment is right.
I have to say, I really do think Sachi has some talent in that field.
Oh, we're back to the old chibi. Oh, it's been a long time.
I have returned. Welcome back. How did it go with Yuuji? I am pleased to report that I succeeded in explaining the situation to him. As directed, I didn't offer even the slightest hint regarding our purpose. Roger. Okay then. Take a seat, Sachan. Certainly. Would you mind explaining what on earth this is all about?
Well, sure. Let's see. Where to begin?
Please don't tell me you dragged me here for no reason at all.
That's not it, okay? We definitely have a reason for this little meeting. It's just, well, I didn't really expect you to get literally dragged here, you know.
Please calm yourself, Sakaki-san. We only took these measures in order to ensure matters would move forward in a smooth and peaceable fashion.
In what universe does the term peaceable apply to knocking someone out with a drug, binding their hands and legs with rope, then tying them to a chair?
Well, in retrospect, I probably shouldn't have told Snatching to bring you here by any means necessary. Oh, come on. Did you seriously not know what was gonna happen if you said that to Sachi of all people?
I was only trying to bring Sakaki-san to this room by the most prompt and reliable means available to me, as requested.
And the first solution that popped into your head was knocking her out with a handkerchief soaked in chloroform? It seriously scares me sometimes, Sakaki. Sachi.
Just forget it. I'm not interested in debating this any further. Would you kindly hurry up and tell me what it is you want?
Yeah, okay then. We'll get started right away, if that's alright. Man, why the heck am I licking her boots all of a sudden?
Do you have something to say to me?
No, nothing at all.
Well, ain't that a rare sight? Harmony backed off a little. It's sort of like snake versus viper type of deal, I guess. Like, they both pack a punch.
Michiro-sama, it might be impertinent of me to point this out, but...
Ah, jeez, yeah, vipers are on the snake team too. I know that. The nuance is what matters, okay? Just roll with it.
Yes, of course. I shall now roll with it. Snakes? So be it. A viper is fine too.
You got her approval, Shiro. Ain't that nice? You people piss me off. Ah, you seriously piss me off.
Okay, people, please shut up now.
Are you even going to get to the point?
Sorry, let's take this from the top. Okay, I'm going to come out and say this point blank. Sakaki-san, what kind of relationship do you currently have with Yuuji?
Relationship?
You guys are going out alone a lot lately, and pretty much every single time Yuuji comes back with a look on his face that screams, something just happened. But it's not like that guy's gonna tell us anything, you know? We thought we'd try asking you instead. I mean, if you and Yuuji really are in some kind of special relationship now, I wouldn't try to stick my nose into that or anything. It's completely between you two, after all. But if there's something more complicated going on, I was hoping you might be willing to talk to us about it. You know, when all's said and done, it's just the six of us here, right? So it feels kind of awkward having this big, obvious secret between us. I understand you're more the private type, Sakaki-san, but this time there's someone else mixed up in it too, so...
I see. This is all about Kasami-kun in the end.
Sorry? Did you say something?
Nothing important. We're spending time together because my father placed a request for a guard. Kasami-kun is hanging around me as protection. There's nothing else to it.
Your father?
Yes, you're familiar with him yourself, aren't you, Susan?
Yeah, I guess he's a regular client of Dad's, and a bunch of stuff happened when I was transferring over here, and...
Then I assume you know a little about my family as well.
Yeah, so, is this going where I think it is? You need a guard because someone's...
That's right. When I go out alone, he accompanies me as protection from would-be abductors, most likely kidnappers with a financial incentive. When trouble arises, he suppresses it with force.
Ah, for real? That's completely crazy.
Well, Yuuji's family is like rich, so it ain't impossible. Huh? Really? Wait, how rich is rich? Like, where are they on the Kelp scale or whatever?
Michiru-sama, what on earth is the standard of wealth? What on earth is that standard of wealth?
You know, Kelpis, the white stinky soft drink solution. You can tell how rich a family is by how much water they have to add to every glass. Have you heard that before?
Michiru-sama, you're breaking my heart.
Huh? Why? Hold on a second. Why would that break your heart?
Okay, guys, can you save the family comedy hour for later? We're here to ask Sakaki-san questions.
The Kelp scale. It was 10 to 1 at my house. 10 parts water, 1 part Kelpis.
Sachan, stick something in Michiru's mouth. Certainly. Michiru-sama, please enjoy this tasty lollipop.
Wow, that's a fairly large lollipop. I think I understand your circumstances now, Sakaki-san, but how did you get involved in all this?
Kasami-kun's work seems to involve matters of national interest. I don't know the exact details regarding his assignment myself.
National interest? Like, what, he's some kind of civil servant?
I don't know that myself. When I ask, he becomes evasive.
A public servant, employed as a bodyguard? An SP or some other variety of police officer, perhaps?
Totally plausible. The guy's crazy story and weirdly experienced for his age, you know? You could totally see him out there fighting crime and whatnot. What? Oh man, no way. What if he arrests me?
Michiru-sama, we don't even know if he works for the police yet.
The heck, Chiro, you already done sucking that sucker? You must be one hell of a leg girl. Nice tongue power. Excuse me, can you stop implying that I'd be totally awesome at you know what? But seriously, is this police thing for real? Aren't you guys freaked out? If Yuuji burst in and yells you're under arrest, it's game over, man.
Sergeant? Mouth. Yes, have a sandwich, Michiru-sama.
So Qa'Rajh a tongue expert, huh? Yeah, better watch out, Yuuji-chan. Got a special technique of your own?
I don't have the slightest intention of answering that question, but just to be perfectly clear, Kasami-kun and I aren't in a relationship of that sort. And I'm not particularly interested in the first place, so I'd appreciate it if you stop with the vulgar insinuations.
Ah, please. Look at it. Boss, the lady's still trying to play dumb. Nice try, kid, but we got a whole pile of dirt. You're head over heels and we can prove it.
What? Wait, we're already going there? Aren't you kind of rushing things?
Forget it, boss. Just make the kid spill her guts already. We ain't gonna crack that pert little mouth open by making small talk for hours, you know?
Why am I boss now? Well, whatever. Let's move on to phase 2. What dirt? Also, what is phase 2?
Sergeant, toss the items in question onto the floor.
Yes, behold. These are...
Kudera Yuuji goes full Dera, an illustrated history.
Photographs of me? When on earth did you... This was taken at the entrance of the dormitory one morning, capturing Sakaki-san just about to go out. While putting on her outdoor shoes, her eyes find Kasami-san standing just a little in front of her. Goodness, what is this? A little sleepy? Such an indescribably dreamy expression. Look, her lips are slightly parted. This is incredibly rude. Let me out of these robes. Hand over those photographs. And here we have a shot of her return from the river, watching Kasami-san, who's walking a little ways behind, out of the corner of her eyes. Her countenance grows somewhat forlorn. This redness in the cheeks cannot be blamed on the setting of the sun alone. This is without a doubt... Stop it! Don't! This image was taken only the other day. Here we see a young lady longing to touch the untouchable. Her slightly outstretched hand, paused halfway to its target, speaks more eloquently than 1,000 words. And above all, this expression, just look at it. One might almost think the deed had already been done. As I'm sure you all agree, this is the face of a woman in love.
The camera doesn't lie, and these aren't the only photos either. Our investigator brought us plenty of proof.
Any reasonable observer take one look at these and say, wouldn't be surprised if he's already given her the business. Huh? What? What business? To shoot you on a store?
Michiru-sama, please stay just the way you are forever.
Look, what's with you today? I seriously don't get it. Alright?
Plug the hole.
Yes, here, Michiru-sama. It's use time.
Go.
Well, anyway, we got mounds of dirt. Protesting your innocence in the face of all this would just be unseemly, don't you think, Sakaki Yumiko-san? Admit it, you've fallen for Kasami Yuuji. Am I wrong? Cowards! You're heartless cowards! I can't believe you'd sneak around taking pictures. How could you? Did you want to make a laughingstock of me that badly? I mean, yes, I was the most friendly classmate. I know I kept my distance from you, but this is just too cruel. Wait, what? Hold on. We're not really here to make fun of you or anything. Huh? Well, come on, I said so from the start, right? We wouldn't get in the way if you and Yuuji were in a romantic relationship. Heck, if anything, we'd kind of hoping to offer a little help from the shadows or something. After we double-checked our theory with you, of course. I do apologize, it's just not possible to be completely sure about these things from outside observations alone. Our method was certainly a little rough, but we needed your confirmation.
Now that we understand how you feel about Yuuji, it'll be easier for us to take action or whatever. Cause everybody was totally looking forward to seeing your reaction when you showed these. No! Ouch, how many that hurt?
So that's how it is, Sakaki-san. Alright, I understand.
Great, glad we cleared that up at least.
But that said, I'm afraid your efforts were pointless. Huh? My feelings toward Kasami-kun are entirely one-sided after all.
Yumi-chan?
I asked him very clearly why he was going so far to protect me, and his answer was, because it's my job. Only natural, of course. It's not as though anyone would put their body on the line to guard the likes of me without some circumstances of that sort. Still, I was happy. I'd never had anyone protect me like that before. Even if it was only a job to him, it meant a great deal to me. It would be nothing but a nuisance for him, I'm sure. I don't even understand these feelings very well myself, much less what I should do about them. For the moment, all I've managed to do is express concern about his safety, although that seems pointlessly one-sided as well, to be honest.
Sakaki-san, have you never fallen in love before?
If I was capable of that, I wouldn't have turned into an antisocial box-cutter menace.
Sorry, we asked you some pretty thoughtless questions, didn't we?
Don't worry about it. It was a laughable story from the start.
Well, okay then, if that's how this is, we'll just have to teach that clueless blockhead to appreciate Sakaki-san's charm. Am I right, or am I right?
Huh?
Greedo, you just got a killer bard to work with, right? One well-timed wiggle of that ass should do the trick.
Wait, I am entirely in agreement. Kasami-san should immediately be made to realize that an ultra-high quality meal has been set out for him, and how it yearns to be eaten.
Wait, a meal? Did you make dinner already? I don't get it, Saji!
Yeah, I expected that to happen.
Well, wait, hold on, don't tell me you're planning to say something ridiculous to Kasami-kun. They're gone, aren't they? When exactly are they planning to untie me?
Oh, Yumiko.
Kasami-kun?
What's wrong?
I'd appreciate it if you stopped staring at my body.
Right, my apologies. A certain individual directed me to observe you more carefully, you see. Couldn't go about it any other way.
Would you mind telling me about this certain individual in greater detail?
Sorry, but I've been sworn to silence.
Then you don't have to say a word about who's involved, but would you mind at least explaining what they told you to observe about me and why?
Not sure that would be such a good idea either. I have a feeling the answer might irritate you somewhat. But if you're really that interested in hearing someone else's groundless speculation regarding your physical characteristics...
it's alright. That response was more than enough of an explanation.
I see. In that case, I'll continue my observations.
Just because I understand the situation doesn't mean I've given you permission to stare at me.
That's so. My apologies.
Honestly, some help this is. They're just looking for laughs after all.
What with all the heavy sighs?
It's nothing. It's nothing at all, right? For crying out loud.
What on earth is going on around here anyway?
And that's where we'll end this episode. So we both got some action, we got some chibi, and we got poor Yumiko being abducted by Saji. Oh man. Anyway, that's it for this episode. So until next time, take care.